Hey everyone, this is Mr. Kadja or Mr. C. I just want to take this opportunity to tell you how super excited I am to be a Leonard Longhorn and have the opportunity to teach you some social studies this year. If you haven't had the opportunity to look at the Meet the Teacher information, please go back and take a look at that. There's some things in there about me and a few things about some of the things that coming up this year, some of the new tools like Canvas. Canvas is going to be the online tool that the district is using, not just for e-learning, but for communicating and for grades. I know that is replacing EDSB this year. So please make yourself familiar with some of that information on my Meet the Teacher stuff. You'll also get the links to my professional social media footprint on Instagram and Twitter, which both include school-based stuff and educational stuff that we do in class and that relate to the things that we do. I also want to take this time to talk a little bit about the beginning of the school year. We don't know what that's really going to look like, right? We really don't know. We know that we're dealing with something brand new, a challenge that we don't normally start with, and that is this coronavirus. Every year has its challenges, some at the beginning, some as we go along. But this year, it's right at the start, so much so that we've actually pushed school back 2 weeks to start. And that's a big deal. That's really a big deal. So we really don't know how this school year is really going to look, whether we're going to start face-to-face, whether we're going to start e-learning while some's going to be face-to-face and some people are going to be e-learning. We really just don't know. But one thing we do know is that this coronavirus has affected all of us. And I don't mean we've all been infected by it, but in some way, shape, or form, it has changed what we do and changed the way we think. Okay, whether or not it has impacted us personally by a loved one or close friend who have contracted the illness, or whether we've had to change the way we do our day-to-day, the way we work, the way we live, the way we interact in public. Okay, we all are, hopefully wearing our masks and taking those precautions with hand sanitizer and so on to make sure that we're as safe as possible. We also don't want to bring it home to others. And so everyone is dealing with this in a very different way. We have to keep that in mind as we interact with each other, right? So we have to be compassionate and kind to other people, even when other people seem like they're not, but we don't know what they're dealing with. They might be dealing with anxiety or nerves or frustration over the situation. And we just have to be really patient with them. We have to be patient with ourselves too. We have to give ourselves a chance to be kind to ourselves and to be kind to others. All right, so we take a lot of time to just sit back and breathe and realize that we are all in this together. Because when the school year gets going, and whether we're in person and whether we're digital, we're going to have to learn. We're going to have to make progress. We're going to have to grow. And that growing is going to be measured, of course, as you know, in testing. There's no indication that those testing requirements are going to go away this year like they did last year. But also we have to grow as people, right? Yes, of course we're at school and we're supposed to learn our reading, our writing, our social studies, our science, our math, and so on. But we're also going to have to learn how to interact with each other. We're going to have to learn how to be members of a community. And that's what we're here for. And that's one of the important things about public school is that we're here to learn how to interact with people we wouldn't normally get the opportunity to interact with, people who are like us, people who are different from us. And we have to try and make that experience come through, even if it's in an e-learning environment, right? So we have our challenges this year, but we are going to grow through these challenges and we're going to be better because of them. All right, so let's just keep that in mind as we move forward this year. And I'm really looking forward to a great year and a great start with these new challenges. I look at these challenges as not an obstacle, but something to help us step up and grow. We're going to be studying Holocaust history in here. Now, you have chosen as an elective a very important course, one that is not always very easy to hear or listen to or see because the topic is at times pretty graphic, pretty disturbing, that those events were something that could have happened and that we could allow to happen and we could see happening over and over again. And so thank you for taking such an important and relevant course. I know when we talk about Holocaust history, it sounds like something from a generation ago during World War II. But we also need to consider that some of the same patterns that took place before, during, and after the Holocaust, we see again and again and again in history and in modern times, right? And so getting an understanding of the Holocaust will give us a better understanding of the world around us and make us more aware of some of the things we observe governments doing or people doing to each other that make us better citizens and make us better prepared to combat those problems, because that's kind of our responsibility. Part of the problem with the Holocaust was that people didn't step up. People didn't stand up for for others who were being oppressed. And that's kind of something you could see as being really important in United States history today, with, you know, the struggles that we see happening literally in the streets and in the news. This summer was a turbulent summer, and hopefully, even though some of the protests and things have died down in places, that same struggle still needs to exist. But we also need to see why that struggle is happening, why there's a need for that struggle. And so we see people standing up, and people have learned from that history. And that's why this course is so important, to give you that context and give you the opportunity to learn from history so that those same mistakes are not made again. Now, about the course and how it's going to be run, let's talk about supplies first. I like to do an interactive notebook, but I do not do an interactive spiral notebook. No spiral. I tried that. It doesn't work for me. I will make mistakes, and I will glue something into a page here, and I really meant for it to be here behind this other page, and it's stuck once it's glued in a spiral. So I converted that interactive notebook into a binder format. Right, so this way, if I do make that mistake, I can put it somewhere else. I can take it out and put it in where it needs to be. Okay, so your binder that you'll get for the course, please make it about 1.5 inch binder, or if you have a larger binder that you share with another class, okay, then by all means share with that other class. Just make sure it has a dedicated section for Holocaust history. Okay, other supplies: pen, pencil, highlighter. Easy breezy. Okay, nothing crazy, nothing unusual, and I plan on keeping it that way. Okay, anything we do in here, I will provide the supplies for you. All right. So the supplies are really pretty simple, really pretty basic. This course lends itself to quite a bit of discussion. Some of you will be face-to-face, and some of you will be e-learning. We'll work that out. Okay, and we won't be meeting at the same time. I'll just have a class of e-learning students. I'll have a class of in-person students. Okay, and then in-person discussion is going to look like discussion that you've had in classes throughout your, high school and maybe middle school career. Okay, but when it comes to being that discussion part online, we're going to work on that. We'll see how we could tweak that and make that happen. And we're going to make that discussion possible, because we learn from each other's ideas when we feel safe to share those ideas, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to have to read some things, primary sources, secondary sources. We're going to watch some videos, some clips, some testimony from actual Holocaust survivors, some movies that have, maybe embellished a little bit or tried to dramatize these documentaries otherwise. But we want to get a whole picture of the causes of the Holocaust, the course of the Holocaust, okay, the after effects of the Holocaust, and then what we can do and what we can see to prevent another potential Holocaust. Okay, so again, I thank you all for taking this really difficult course. Difficult as far as the subject, the content is not always going to be as easy to digest, if you will, but it is super important, and I'm super glad that you are taking this and that I have the opportunity to teach it to you. So I'm really excited to be here at Leonard High School, and I'm looking forward to a great semester and a great year. Rest up, you'll need it, because we're coming back in just a couple of weeks.